Welcome to the 10-year anniversary of NoDQ.com here on MySpace, YouTube, and of course NoDQ.com, the premier wrestling website in all the world, formerly WWF formerly TheMayhem.com. It's been a long and very arduous 10 years, but in the last 6 years of that history, there's been a little show called Extreme Mayhem, later XMV, Extreme Mayhem Video. This is a reunion of XMV to celebrate the 10th anniversary of NoDQ.com. And with me in my esteemed panel tonight, God help me, are three very special guests. You've been seeing them for the last 5 weeks or so, hyped up, ready for their big return to internet media. Although one's already returned with his commercials. We'll get to him in a little bit. First person I want to bring in, the recently married. He's all grown up now. He has more life than me, that's for damn sure. But he won't wear his wedding ring because he's that independent, baby. That's right.
No ring.
The artist formerly known as... I won't say it. I promised him I wouldn't say it.
It's you can call me Lee Michael Aaron, or Lee Aaron. If no one else really works.
It's Lee, everybody. There you go. My best friend. My confidant, if you will. Speaking of confidants, the only friend I currently have as a friend that's also happens to be in the wrestling business like me. I'm kind of out of it now because Epic War and HDCW are kind of on the fringe. But you have a very successful referee in the business, successful actor, improv comedian, all-around good guy, hoodie and all. It's Josh Tariff.
In the wrestling business with you?
Well, not with me, but
You guys are living a dream.
We are in the business at the same time. Let's put it that way.
All right, enough boring shit.
Yeah, I'm bored.
And here's Mike.
Let's start this discussion.
XMV!
Need a ride?
This is Notorious KID, Kid Cash.
You are watching XMV.
God's gift to wrestling.
On NoDQ.com.
Yeah!
Alright, so we're back around the round table. Reason for the belts, I want to get myself over because I like my belts, but at the time this was the WWF Championship belt in November 8th, to be exact, 1998. This is the belt that was going to be presented to the winner of the Deadly Games tournament, which was The Rock at Survivor Series 98, and this was the WCW belt, of course. And it has my name on it because it's mine. I don't know. Anyway, the main focus of 98 for the WWF at the time, leading into and even after the Survivor Series, which was the first pay-per-view that NoDQ covered back when it was WWF again, was the Survivor Series, which continued the Austin McMahon storyline. And for me personally, I'll get everybody's opinion here real quick. You guys can jump in whenever you want. That feud changed the business again for the better. It really seemed to bring wrestling out of the hole that it had been in for a good, 7, 8, even 9 years. Back when Hogan stepped away to make, no holds barred and then came back, wrestling was already on its downside. The Austin McMahon feud, the Monday Night Wars, all that stuff in late 98, going into early 99 was what made wrestling hot again.
With that, you finally started to see like the McMahon family come together too.
Yep.
Shane McMahon became a big on-air personality, re-signing Stone Cold. With Shane McMahon, they had this whole elaborate storyline where, it was the boss against Austin, the rebel, didn't want to do things the corporate way, wasn't a suited champion like everybody before him.
Yeah.
He was
I was going to say, it also made a lot of people live vicariously through Austin in a way. He could beat up his boss. Boy, wouldn't it be great if I could beat up my boss?
And drink beer at work.
Drink beer at the same time. Yeah, so...
Drink beer at work, wear cut-off jeans at work, wearing the t-shirts,
Flip people off.
Exactly.
Swear.
Yeah.
Say F word. And, that's what got him over, too. He didn't do anything special.
It turned the page into business.
All he did was wear his black trunks, his vest.
Austin was being himself.
And
that was the new thing. That's what took off. All of a sudden, there's not a guy with face paint on, or a guy acting like a berserker.
On WCW's side, the feud going into late 98, WCW, was the split of the NWO, which had become so popular and so over that WCW, in their infinite wisdom, as they always did, decided to go and fuck it up. It got so big, they split it off into two factions. NWO Hollywood, led by Hogan, and NWO Wolfpack, led by Nash. Going into late '98, that feud was really kind of dying down, and the main focus was, of course, Goldberg, who was the WCW champion, the undefeated 173-0 Bill Goldberg.
Worst wrestler of all time.
Worst wrestler of all time, in my opinion.
And he's an asshole.
And he's an asshole because he turned us down for an interview 5 years ago.
He hung up on me.
He hung up on him. Didn't even give Mike the time of day. He's a bastard, but he was the world champion going into '98. Booked to lose to Kevin Nash with the interference of Scott Hall and the taser.
Oh my god. What? I remember the paper. I saw it with Aaron at his house.
Yep.
And we were saying what crap it was because they were throwing together matches. And it was just so bad because every match had someone from the NWO
Yep.
against someone from WCW. But it's like they paired the worst people together to have, like Finley and someone tagged up against NWO Brian Adams and Scott Norton. I remember that.
Oh.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. And then the main event was horrible. You go in thinking that Goldberg's going to win, and that's what everybody wanted to see,
Yep.
and you have a cattle prod. A fucking cattle prod. Are you kidding me?
And Scott Hall, who 2 months before that had been, decimated by Nash and left for dead, but he won the match via countout because Nash was like, fuck him, I'm leaving him. Hall comes in and helps Nash. That led to January 4th, 1999, a pivotal night for Raw vs. Nitro. On the same night, you had, on the WWF side, Mankind Mick Foley becoming WWF champion for the first time in a taped Raw. On the same night on Nitro, Tony Schiavone, with orders from Eric Bischoff, announced the title change on Raw.
That'll put some butts in the seats.
That'll put some asses in the seats. Immediately after Schiavone said that stupid comment, something like 650,000 people tuned and went to Raw to see Mick Foley because Mick Foley was so over and he was such a fan favorite. On the same night that Mick Foley defeated The Rock, with a little help from Stone Cold, of course,
And DX.
DX was there, and the corporation was there. Half the company was in that fucking match.
It's a great match.
A great match, but it was nuts. The advertised match for Nitro was Goldberg and Nash in the big rematch on TV from Starrcade. Goldberg was arrested for stalking Miss Elizabeth. Oh, it hurts. It still hurts to think about it now. And Hogan goes to the ring with Steiner in his corner because he was the leader of NWO Hollywood since Hogan was retired. Nash goes to the ring with the returning Scott Hall, both in the red Wolfpack shirt with the wolf on the front. I wish I had that shirt still. Are you going to sell that shirt, by the way?
I do not have any more. I sold them already.
Damn it. Anyway. So they go to the ring, they do the stare down, whatever. Nash shoves Hogan into the corner, does the Wolfpack sign. I probably do.
You do.
I do. That's the Wolfpack sign. Hogan comes back out to the front. They stare again. Hogan rears back to hit Nash. I'll never forget this as long as I live because I was watching Nitro that night. Pokes Nash in the chest. Nash falls like he got hit by a gunshot.
That's the fastest I've ever seen Nash.
It's not that I've ever seen a Nash job like that. It was incredible. 1, 2, 3. Hogan regains the championship for a 5th time, and the NWO Elite is formed. The next topic is a sad one. Owen Hart passing away has to be, up until last year, and we'll get to that later, the most tragic thing I've ever seen as a wrestling fan. That was the first time in wrestling that I was watching that I cried for a legit reason. Yeah, I was upset when Hogan turned heel. Yeah, I was upset when this happened and that happened. That was the first time as a wrestling fan that I actually broke down and was like, why?
I have
Why?
never-
It definitely hit you the next night.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching Raw the next night.
Yeah,
It was
I've
horrible.
never seen
Never seen
the
anything like
the
it.
live thing from the pay per view. All I've seen was when Jer and King were zooming on the pay per view and where they announced that he died. I've never seen anything that happened before that. I never plan on seeing anything that happened before that.
Well, it was horrible though because during the pay-per-view they had Jeff Jarrett having to go out and do a match with Goldust, and Jeff Jarrett's crying
Right.
while he's doing a promo. All these people are crying.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Because this was like second or third match on the card, right?
It was supposed to be him and the Godfather for the Intercontinental title. He was booked to win.
Thank God that happened during the tape promo.
I don't know if you knew this.
I did not know that.
Yeah. During Owen's entrance from the ceiling, they were showing a Blue Blazer promo that they taped earlier today with Kevin Kelly, and when they cut back to the crowd shot, that was after the fall. So the fall never. Dude, people have been looking for 10 years almost now.
I did not know that.
Yeah, people have been looking for rare videotape footage of him falling.
Can't find it.
And every time you go on LimeWire at the time, Napster. Anybody remember Napster? People were trying to find the video of the fall. Nobody ever had it because nobody was videotaping it, but everybody claimed to.